Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of DeepSeededGeek's Day 1 Noob. Today we are launching a brand new game to kind of take a look at, and the game itself is Starcraft 2 Wings of Liberty. Now to start with, I want to state that I have never played a real-time strategy game in my life. Call of Duty, when I was doing that, I have played first-person shooters before, but not necessarily military shooters or competitive-wise. But RTS games are completely new to me. The big reason why I wanted to do StarCraft in particular is not only because it's one of the biggest RTS games out there, and it is such a huge game going on, but the actual reason is that I love going on YouTube and watching videos by Day9 and Day9 TV. I love everything that guy does. He's just got one of those personalities you just want to hear and listen to for hours on end. But whenever he's talking about StarCraft, which is the vast majority of his videos, I am completely lost. I have no idea what a Zerg or a Protoss is and what the strategies he's talking about are, and when everything is going lightning fast, it's hard for me to catch up on. So I want to get through this, get a little bit of a newbie kind of flair for it, and then go back, watch his videos, and have a good understanding of it. But in order for me to do that, I need to be a better gamer, like what he always says. So that's why I'm relying on you guys. Now, the first thing I was going to do with my time with StarCraft 2 was play through the campaign, because I think the storyline is what gets everybody invested into the game, and then they kind of have that attachment when they go on to play their multiplayer games. Much like in XCOM Enemy Unknown, when you take the time to name all your squad mates and then you put them out on the field, when they die on the field, you feel something. It's not just like, oh, I lost a guy, that's it. It's like, no, player 2, where'd you go? So I think once I get a handle of like the backstory of all these characters, I will give a crap about the Marines and all those guys and how they're actually fighting the Zerg and Jim Raynor and all these characters. Like, they sound good so far, so I just want to get a little more invested before I hit the multiplayer stuff. And because I'm such a noob, I did go through the tutorials, and I am surprised. This is something that really caught my attention with this game. The controls for the game are very, well, they're a lot less daunting than I would have imagined. I mean, I always expected like every single key on the keyboard to be used in these type of games, and that's why I kind of shied away from it as well, because I can't do that. I tried DayZ for a little bit, and that literally is every button has something to do. With this, it's very like user-friendly, I should say, you know, which is surprising. Much like when I jumped into Diablo, it's just point click for the most thing, and you can get by. This has a few more what's the word I'm looking for? A few more details to it to make it kind of stand out and make it a little more complex, but it's not anything that would overwhelm me by any means. So I'm glad to see that that's not going to be a barrier that I have to get over. And the second thing is actually revolved around the story so far. Right now I am reading a book called Leviathan Wakes, and the characters in there are amazing. The funny thing is that when I started up StarCraft 2, all the main characters that I get to be involved with are like the visual representation of the people I imagined in my head for that book, Leviathan Wakes. It's uncanny. So right from the get-go, I am looking at these characters going, yes, I am with you, because I know a different backstory from other characters that I've kind of implemented on top of them. So I'm thinking this is a continuation from Leviathan Wakes. So it's really working in my favor here. So I'm getting invested really quick. Now, the few tips that I have kind of siphoned from people, or that I've overheard in the past, is that you need to focus on your mini-map. Now, I know in Call of Duty that was something I did not grasp, and for the most part, it kind of doesn't work, in my opinion. That's just me. Everybody else who's used to it, they love it, they're good, no problem. Me, it's not really what I imagine minimap to be. This is more along the lines I imagined, where you point on the minimap and it'll zoom in to that specific area. I love that. And then if you need to send a whole bunch of troops, it's just drag, select them all, and then bam, click one place on the minimap and away they go. That is brilliant. That is fantastic. I love that. The one thing that I do have to work on with this game, and it's going to take a long time for me to get my head around it, I think, is I have to work on my resource management skills. As I got confused all the time as to what I'm supposed to be doing with the Marines and stuff, how I need to build a different attachment to a building to actually get the characters that I want to make, and then I need to get more depots and everything so I can afford to do that, and more workers. So it's the skill, not so much the skill tree management, but the actual management of everybody on the playing field that I need to kind of get a grasp of. I have no problem like selecting all my Marine guys and the blowtorch dudes. I know everybody who plays Starcraft is going to go, blowtorch dudes? Really? There's a specific name for them, but I'll learn that as I go along. Trust me, I'll get the lingo. But yeah, so all these guys that I send out into the field and they do the auto kills and go scavenge here and there, I'm good with that. That's very basic stuff. I'm cool. But when it comes back to like the home base area and I'm supposed to be getting all my little worker drones there to kind of get the crystal things, you guys are gonna hate me for all the bad terminology, but bear with me, I will get it straight eventually. For now, just humor me here. So all my little drone guys who are getting the blue crystal stuff to bring it back, I don't know if I should be like laying down like base upon base upon base to like make more Marines like at a higher rate and get all these little drone guys, as many as possible, going. How many medics should I have? And the gas pockets and everything like that, should I even bother doing those? How many depots should I have at one time? Blah blah blah. You know, so all these things I don't have a skill set for. Like, I don't have a tactician's brain for how to manage all that kind of stuff. So that is something, if you guys know a good way to start off using all that to a great advantage, please let me know. Because if it were me, in a strategy game, I would just like hold back in base until like I've amounted like 40 Marines with like 30 dudes with blowtorches, and like I get like supplies from all the little blue crystal things at like a rapid pace, you know, like 100 every second, you know, and I'd have bases all along, and then I'd go out just to kill a single Zerg. You know, that's the way I would play it. But because it's a real-time strategy, you need to move your ass, because, you know, some people are waiting on you to get from point A to point B multiple times to escort certain people to another place. So that's all well and good, but I've had to start a couple of missions because I am determined not to let any civilians die. It's a big call, I know, but it's what I'm going to try to do. So every time I lose a civilian, I restart, because I'm a dick like that, and I try it again, and slowly I build up more Marines as I go. Like, this is what I do. I pretty much send my guys off to guard civilians or take out a enemy base, while at my home base, once I've finished a quest line, so to speak, that's when I'll say, okay, you guys head back to base, and while you're on your way back, I'm going to start building new guys. Once you get there, we'll add them to the team, and away we go again. So I don't know if that's a good strategy, if I should be building guys while I'm battling people on the road, or what the story is, but please, by all means, that's why this series is created, for you guys to kind of mentor me to become a better StarCraft 2 player. That way I can have the courage to go online, and you can kick my ass all the way up and down the internets, and yeah, it'll be a good time. And speaking of the multiplayer aspect of this, I have to admit I'm not going to be doing any multiplayer stuff until probably the final month of the Day 1 Noob series on StarCraft, because I fear that somehow Day 9 would get a hold of my gameplay and he would post it on his Newbie Tuesday episodes, and he will totally tear me apart. I don't want that. That is the last thing I would want, is to have one of my video game idols just rip me a new one for being such a total turd at StarCraft 2. I'd rather have you guys tear me a new one in the comments. I'm okay with that. I can take that, because I know you guys are ripping me a new one because A, you watch my show and you're allowed to, and B, you want me to do better, so you can go ahead and kick my ass later. So I thank you for all the comments in advance. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this is probably a minor thing for StarCraft 2 players, but it is pretty cool for me. it is intriguing so far as the story goes for StarCraft 2. I'm into it. The whole, you know, rebels against the alliance kind of thing, and then there's an alien brood that's kind of invading between these two factions, and everybody's at war with each other, and blah blah blah. That is cool. I'm digging sci-fi lately, so that's right up my alley. But the one thing that really surprises me is the cutscenes in this game. Now, Blizzard is known for having like over-budget CGI cutscenes and like things to show off the game and get the advertisements out there, but I have never known them to have very in-depth kind of cutscene CGI work integrated into their game narrative. I am new to Blizzard, so you know this is all new to me, but I am very impressed by what I have seen so far, and I can't help but feel like the way they've done the cutscenes in StarCraft 2 so far, if I were to have the option to zoom right down to the level of my characters in the actual gameplay, I wouldn't doubt that they would have as much detail on them as they do in the CG cutscenes. I mean, for being such a bird's eye view kind of game, it looks highly detailed and really well done. But yeah, that was one thing that impressed me. So I thought that would kind of pull me out of it, because the bird's eye kind of perspective, like the Diablos, like the Torchwoods. Torchwoods? What's on my brain? Oh, too much sci-fi. Like the Diablos, like the Torchlights that are out there, all these Diablo-esque games. I'm not keen on the perspective. It kind of feels like my head needs to like tilt down, and it kind of gives me a weird kind of sensation. But with StarCraft 2, it has not been a bother for me. It's actually been a nice fit, and nothing has suffered because of it. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous game. And so far the gameplay is really kicking my ass too, so I like that. I like a challenge. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close down the first episode of StarCraft 2 Day 1 Noob. If you dig it, like it. If you want to share it with your friends and family, you can do so on Facebook and Twitter. Definitely use the comments if you've played this game and you want to see me kind of get up to a level that you are at, or just tips and tricks for a newbie to become a better gamer in general. Please leave a comment for that. Subscribe as usual, because I will be putting out videos every Monday and Friday. And we shall see you next time on DeepSeededGeek. Take care.